Friday, the 17th of February, 8-race program, Fairview Turf Track. The first race off at 12:35. Race 1 is the opening leg of the bipot. A couple of very tough handicaps on this 8-race card. We're joined on the line, as always, by Gallop TV's resident Eastern Cape tipster and form analyst, Grant Paddock. Good morning. How are you doing, Grant?
Morning, Graham. Morning. Thank you very much. Yeah, all good down here. Weather's good. Looks like it's going to be a good day for racing tomorrow.
Wonderful. We can't say the same for Highveld. Unfortunately, we've lost 3 race meetings in a row there. Hopefully, racing action will resume on the Highveld over the weekend. But it's all about Fairview Turf Track. It's all about Eastern Cape racing. The first off at 12:35. Now, before we get into the first race, Grant, there are a couple of tough handicaps on this race. I would imagine that somewhere along the line, we're going to have to go real short in some of these races. And if we're talking about the bipot, the first race is a juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 metres. Is number 1 Summer Odyssey a banker, or do we need to respect the first timer from the Gavin Smith yard?
Graham, definitely not a banker. This filly was all out to win last time out, carrying 57.5. If it wasn't for Richard in the saddle, I think she gets beaten. That was only 2 weeks ago. Strange that she is running again so soon, but she must have pulled up well. I think she'll have it all to do to turn it around with Fire Glow on the Hidelita run. And also this filly, number 4, Idita, very well related filly. Keegan's up and Gavin will have a good line through Global Force. You'll know where it is. They have to watch the betting on this filly, and if there's any further money, late money for her, she definitely got to go into the bipot. For me, the bipot numbers will be 2 and 4.
Okay, so you're certainly not in the camp of the early 16-10 favourite, number 1 Summer Odyssey. That's interesting. Idita is at 5-2. Number 2 Fire Glows at 4-1. Number 3 Global Rush is at 5-1, and they're betting any price about the other 3 that make up the 7-all Sparty. So there you heard it from Grant. He doesn't trust the favourite in the first. He's going with numbers 2 and 4 in the opening leg of the bipot. The second race on the card is a maiden plate over 2,400 metres. Again, it's a smallish field, only 7 runners. And Grant, Candice Bass-Robinson is in town with just 1 runner on the day. Number 7, Medalist Tart, the 3-year-old daughter of Master of My Fate, has been priced up 15-10 favourite. Number 1, Popping Crease, is at 18-10. And Keegan DeMello's mount, number 2, Space Explorer, is at 5-1. The rest are all in double figures. How are we playing the first leg of the place accumulator?
Graham, boat race for me, the 1 and the 7 with preference to the 7. You know, these Cape Town maidens, they come here running 2, 3 and 4 lengths off them in Cape Town, and they're good things. You know, our maidens are well tried and tested, and then these new ones come in and they win 9 times out of 10. The one horse has had quite a lengthy layoff, been off 128 days and straight into a 2-4, which is not ideal. So that gives me the preference to the 7 here, but in the place accumulator, the 1 and 7 should get you through.
Okay, it's interesting in this race because it's over 2,400 metres. The furthest that Popping Crease has gone thus far is 2,000 metres. He's a 3-year-old son of Master of My Fate, and Medalist Tart is a 3-year-old daughter of Master of My Fate. Now, the furthest that Medalist Tart has gone before to the race on Friday is 1,800 metres. Do you get the feeling that being out of a trippy mare, she will get the trip? Surely that's just the one question mark that Medalist Tart's going to have to answer.
Yeah, it's only that, Graham. If she stays, she wins. I'm sure they wouldn't have sent her down all the way from Cape Town if she's not going to be competitive. But as I say, you know, even when she went over 1,800 metres, 3.6 to silver links, you know, that form is too strong. If the 1 or the 7 run out of it, then we've got a hell of a big problem in the race. Then you've got to start looking back towards the Port Elizabeth horses, who are very, very, very moderate. So I'm going to stick with Medalist Tart and Popping Crease, Graham.
Just one last horse I want to touch on, and I'm sorry to be labouring the point on this 2,400 metre maiden, but there is one horse in the race, number 5, Joe Harmon, who's attractively priced. His course and distance form, Fairview 2,400 metres, reads 3 starts for 2 seconds and a third. Surely if you're going to throw a third horse into the race, if the other 2 are suspect over the trip for whatever reason, surely Joe Harmon is the next most likely one to deliver?
Yes, Yes, I agree with you there. Just unfortunate, his last run over 2,000 meters, he pulled up with a post-race distress, and he has had a history of coughing as well. So, yeah, it's always over 2,400. You don't need those kind of things. I'll probably, if I had to go for one more, I'd probably go for this horse Jack in the Box, who ran 1.7 to Quasimodo. Now, he's an up-and-coming 3-year-old, and he's headed towards the Derby. So that would probably be my third choice.
Okay, well, on past form lines, there's very little to choose between Jack in the Box and Joe Harmon. They met over the track and trip a couple of months ago. Jack in the Box ran fourth behind Music Box Special, and just ahead of that was number 5, Joe Harmon. But we are expecting Medalist Start to see out the trip. We are expecting her to be tough to beat, but the distance does remain a little bit of a question mark. Moving on to race 3, the first leg of the pick 6, and it looks like a tough pick 6 to narrow down. It's a classified stakes over 2,400 meters, and let's have a quick look at the betting. It's pretty open. Number 6, Cape Bouquet, tops the boards at 33 to 10. Number 5, Light Without, is at 5 to 1. Number 4, Matsuyamo, is at 11 to 2. And the recently improved number 1, Humble Tune, is at 8 to 1. The rest are in double figures. Not an easy start to the pick 6. What do you make of race 3, Grant?
Yeah, very tricky, Graham. Very, very tricky. But I'm very much in the camp of Cape Bouquet from a good draw with Keegan up. You know, these classified races, they tend to help the fillies quite a bit. Yeah, she's come in with a lovely galloping weight. She's got strong Johannesburg form. She's run to a weight stronger than what she's facing today. And if she's anywhere near ready, she should take the power of beating. I think the only other horses that you need to have a look at here is Light Without and Matsuyama having its third run. Alan likes to give them 1 or 2 sprints and then put them in a trip, but not normally 1,400 to 2.4. So we'll see. It ran on well last time out, finishing 23.5 with Kendall up now. Richard takes the ride, so that's got to be in there. But big preference to Cape Bouquet. Cape Bouquet, Light Without and Matsuyama. I would say add Humble Tune in the pick 6, and if you get into trouble then I don't know. Then after that it gets too wide. So I think you'll be safe with those 4 horses.
Race 4 on the card is no easier because it's a maiden handicap for fillies and mares over 1,400 metres. It's the first leg of Jackpot 1. It goes at 20 past 2. Now, these maiden handicaps, or special weights races as they're called in the Western Cape, they can throw up results. But the top weight, giving weight all round, interesting runner, number 1, Aphrodite. She's beautifully bred. She's had the 1 start in the Eastern Cape. That was over 1,000 metres. They absolutely put the lights out, but she didn't deliver. But I think I've seen her race in the Western Cape. I always thought 1,000 metres was going to be far too sharp for her. 1,400 metres is going to be a lot better. And given the amount of support that she attracted last time, she's clearly working up a storm in the Alan Greef yard. Is Aphrodite a tough nut to crack here?
Not for me, thanks, Graham. I was on Aphrodite first start. Yeah, she played up in the saddling up room, sweated up badly, went down badly, and ran accordingly at 8 to 10. Pulled up with a post-race distress. That was 14 days ago, and she's back in a 1,400. Gone up in trip, which is probably the only positive, but definitely not for me. I think the 2-horse Yaya Maria, very, very hard to beat. Strong front runner. I don't think you're going to make up much ground at Fairview tomorrow, to be honest with you. And then the lurker in the field, Magenta, who ran a very, very good race last week, over 1,200 metres, running on strongly. She's got a lovely low weight to carry, and I think she's going to be the biggest danger to Yaya Maria. So I made a 2-6. I went for Red Cent, who's improved a hell of a lot as well, but she's drawn out a bit bad for 3rd, and I've got Aphrodite at 4th. But Yaya Maria, definitely my PA banker.
Well, certainly Yaya Maria wouldn't be winning out of turn, placed in all of the last 4 starts, 2nd twice, 3rd twice, and Yaya Maria is well drawn in gate number 5. So Grant is sitting on the fence as far as Aphrodite is concerned, ridden by Richard Fourie for Alan Greef. Is in the camp of number 2, Yaya Maria, makes number 6, Magenta, the principal threat in that maiden handicap. Race 5 is a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,400 metres. It's the first leg of Jackpot 2. It goes at 14.55. It's certainly, Grant, a very good race. Some nice horses running, but very competitive. Not easy to narrow down. But what do you make? What are your selections in race 5?
Yeah, lovely quality fielders. Honestly, there's a couple of very decent horses in here. Ferrari Ice, Bold Resolve, Naval Secret. I do like Ferrari Ice in this race. He holds Bold Resolve, especially over the 1400 meters. There's very little to choose between the two of them. But the preference is for Ferrari Ice. I see last time he over-raced, Gavin has got life on Mars in the race, number 10, and I expect that to be making it nice and hot so that Ferrari Ice can settle and then run at them. So Ferrari Ice for me, Bold Resolve, absolutely loves the 1400. Richard up, he'll probably have to give them a bit of start like he normally does and then hopefully try and run them down. Naval Secret's in the form of his life, doing absolutely nothing wrong. Loves Louis, massive runner. So 2, 3, and 5. And if you need one more in the pick 6, probably Slings and Arrows, but he has to up his game. You know, he ran at a lower level last time out, even though he did win. These top 3 are really top quality horses.
Very interesting when you look at Ferrari Ice and Bold Resolve. Their course and distance form exactly the same. 4 starts, 2 wins, 1 second and 1 fourth. Ferrari Ice and Bold Resolve. They come into this 1400 meter contest with exactly the same course and distance form. Now, Keegan DeMello rides Ferrari Ice, and I know we've only just got up to race 5, but it's already becoming very clear to me, Grant, that Keegan DeMello, together with Gavin Smith, they could be the team to follow at Fairview this Friday.
There's no doubt. You know, Keegan's got a 29% strike rate in the Eastern Cape. So when he comes down for the good one. So definitely the man to follow tomorrow.
Moving on to race 6, the Fillies and Mares 77 handicap over 1,600 metres. Now races 6 and 8 are very tough handicaps. Sandwich in between, we've got a nice looking Pinnacle Stakes over 1,000 metres, which we'll get to in a moment. Grant, race 6, not an easy race. They're betting wide, they're betting 5 to 1 the field. The horse that caught my eye, we've been talking about the Keegan DeMello Gavin Smith combination. Demigod is in very, very good form. Her last 2 starts have both been from horrific draws. She's drawn slightly better this time. She's drawn in gate 7. Does Demigod at least set the standard?
Graham, for me, she's better on Polly. She's her first run in Port Elizabeth on the grass, but all the other starts have all been on Polly. So that form has been Polly form. There's a big difference from the Polly to the grass in Port Elizabeth. She'll have to prove herself on the grass first before I go in that direction. Daughter of Zeus looked like a nice runner. Alan's given her 2 runs over a 1400, now stepping her up to the mile. Got a very, very good draw. She ran against the boys last time out in an 82 handicap. She's down to a 77 from a 3 draw with Richard up. She probably sets the benchmark, to be honest with you. And then Chronicles of Narnia has done nothing wrong since she's come to Port Elizabeth, hasn't missed a place, and she probably won't miss a place again. She's really in decent form, and she's a lovely 3-year-old filly. Then I found a bit of value in Alaskan Fate. Graham, she does nothing wrong. Her runs on the grass over a mile at Fairview are really, really good. She gets on well with Uzay Ramzam, and I think she is very good value at 25 to 1. There's also a horse like where's this other horse? Rose of Bayou. You know, she won 3 in a row, and all of a sudden she threw in a bad run. She could be forgiven for that. She gets on very well with Louis. So those 4 are probably the 4 for me. And if you've got to add in the pick 6, you've got to go a bit wider here. The 1, 2, 6, and 9 will have to go in as well. But I think Daughter of Zeus is probably the right horse in the race.
Well, Daughter of Zeus and Chronicles of Narnia, both at 5 to 1, with Demigod at 11 to 2. You make a valid point about Demigod being perhaps better on the poly track. And I do like your value selection on closer inspection. Alaskan Fate has won 3 times over course and distance from only 9 starts. And as you mentioned, does seem to go quite well for Uzay Ramzan. So 25 to 1 each way bet on number 12, Alaskan Fate, won't do any harm. But let's go on to race 7. Before we head into that final handicap, which is even tougher than race 6. Race 7 is a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,000 metres. Now, certainly at first glance, you know these horses far better than I do, but at first glance, it does look like a boat race between the even money favourite, number 1, Cruise Control, and the very talented but rather enigmatic on occasions, number 3, Clifftop. Is it indeed a boat race?
Yes, Graham, without a doubt, an absolute boat race. I must say Clifftop has really found his form of late. He's won 2 very good races, but the handicapper hasn't left him alone. He's got 15 points for 2 wins. His last one, he got 9. He's up to 61 kilos now. He's going to have it all to do. I really am big on cruise control. They've done a good thing with putting Rachel on, taking the 1.5 off. He's got 60.5, so he'll be getting weight from Cliff Top off 113 rating. He got beaten 3.6 lengths in a Grade 1 Cape Flying against the best sprinters in the country, and he was leading for most of the way. I don't think he'll have a problem with this field. I think Cliff Top is slightly better over the 6 furlong, so I'm big cruise control. Chase him home, Cliff Top. But cruise control for me, bankering or everything.
Okay, so then we move on to race 8, which is an MR68 handicap. It's down the lane on the Fairview turf track over 1,200 metres. It is a full field. We've even got a couple of reserves. Obviously, we're recording this on Thursday, so the final card changes are not through yet. So we've got 20 horses carded, 18 almost certain to run. They're betting 6 and 7 to 1 the field. I'll leave it to you to solve this puzzle for us.
Yeah, this is a hell of a puzzle, I must be very honest. If you get through the rest of the card and you're getting in here, you're still not safe, I can tell you that. Go as wide as possible. I've narrowed it down to 4 horses. The 8, Averni Warrior. He's improving in every run. He ran at 79 level last time out, where the average merit rating was 76. He got beaten 0.2 by Vegas Gold, who's running in the previous Pinnacle. So him, definitely the horse to beat, especially over the extra 200 meters. Thought the stable companion, Joyous Jubilee, also a very big runner, lovely post maiden, and he got beaten 1.5 lengths. This horse, Drop of Time from Johannesburg, he had 1 run in the poly where he finished in 22.1. His work has been very good at home. I think he's a massive runner as well. And then the 1 horse, El Romiachi, very unlucky last time out, got into a lot of interference, so he can only improve as well. But very tricky in the pick 6. You probably have to also add in Miami Beach, Globe Tonic. And that should get you through. But 6, 7, and 8 for me, Graham.
Any chance for Keegan DeMello and Gavin Smith to round up what might be a really good day with number 11, Cool Runnings? That was formerly trained here in KwaZulu-Natal, and Keegan knows those well. But won 2 of his recent runs in that centre, but both of those were on the poly track. So are you suspecting that Cool Runnings would be better on the poly track rather than the turf track?
Yeah, 100% with that, Graham. He had 1 run here on the grass in between all these poly runs, and he got beaten 6.9 lengths. He ran 12th out of 16, so he looks like he's a poly man. So we'll have to just see how he goes tomorrow. But Averni Warrior for me, Joyous Jubilee, Drop of Time. Those are the 3 for me.
And the Averni Warrior?
If you've gone shorter early on, try and load up as much as you want to at the back.
Absolutely. Full field to round off the meeting over 1,200 metres at the 68 level. But Grant's first choice, number 8, Averni Warrior, there's certainly a lot of value. Currently quoted in the anti-post market at 8 to 1. So those are very nice, attractive each-way odds. Right, let's go through the suggested bets. You've given us a place accumulator and 1 or 2 other bets. So take us through those, Grant.
All right, yes, my best bet, race 7, number 1, Cruise Control, and my value bet in race 6, number 12, Alaskan Fate. And then we go, maybe the punters can take a win onto the place. You should get decent odds. And then my suggested bet, the place accumulator. First leg, I've gone 1 and 7, by 4, 5 and 6, by Banker 2, Yaya Maria, by 2 and 3, by 4, 5, 11 and 12, by Banker 1, Cruise Control, and 7, 8 and 9 at the back for 144 Rand.
Well, there we go. Grant, as always, thanks very much for your time and for your expertise. And let's hope that things map out as we expect them to on the Fairview turf track, Friday the 17th of March, the first of 8 races off at 12:35. Till next time, Grant, cheers for now.